Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 146 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 146 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you are here with me this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to support me on this journey. It means the world to me. Before we get started, I always like to make sure that I set the foundation. It's really important that I make sure that you understand that this house, the safe space that we are creating, is based on two very important things, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is just really based on the fact that I want to make sure that you understand the Well Done Life is a podcast that I created for women. I created this space for us because we need places and spaces where we can be our most authentic selves, where we can share the good, the bad, the ugly of our journey and learn and inspire each other, because there is just so many things that as women we are responsible for, but there are just so many things that we can do when we inspire each other, when we give each other space to be our most authentic selves. So welcome, and I hope you feel that you can be your most authentic self in this space. And then that leads me, of course, to my favorite thing, which is love. I'm a sucker for love. I'm a lover girl. And so I want you to understand that everything that we do in this space is going to be rooted in love. And with that, I always like to make sure that I send you prayers. It's really important to me that we pray for each other. You know, when two or more come together in prayer, that's a sign of, agreement, and it magnifies our prayers. So I'm a firm believer that I'm not the only one out here with that same philosophy. So I am believing that this prayer is magnified. So this week, just kind of giving some reverence to where we are. Can you believe it? It is the end of March officially, and we are about to roll into the second quarter. We're in spring. So many things have happened. I want to send first and foremost prayers of reflection. I think that this is a really good time to take a breath and look at all the things that we have accomplished over the sum of these past 3 months. It has gone by super fast for me, so I can only imagine how it feels for you guys. It's important to just give yourself a moment to breathe, and give yourself a moment to sit and to process and reflect on all the things that you've been able to accomplish, as well as to reflect on some of the things that you weren't able to accomplish. Because even though we may have had setbacks, even though things may not have worked out in certain areas of our life, that doesn't mean that it's a time for us to be down. It's not a time for us to, get lost in it. It's a time for us to look at the things that didn't work and see what lessons that we can learn going into this next quarter of our lives. What can we do differently? How can we be better? Or if there was nothing that we couldn't do differently, or if there was nothing that we could have done better, you know what? It's time to forgive ourselves and move past it, because mistakes happen. That's life. I mean, you're only going to be able to do your best at all times. And we have to give people space to understand that their best is going to change. It's not always going to be 100%. Sometimes it's going to be 60, 40, 30, 10, or it's just going to be what you're going to get. And you know what? That's good enough in that space, because that is where you're at. That's your best. So I hope that you give yourself moments of reflection, just to be able to kind of, like I said, forgive yourself, to process and give yourself space and room to really think about how you want to move into this next quarter of our lives, this next quarter of this year. I know saying our lives sounds so dramatic, but it is. Like, every quarter is important as we start to, as we are living and aging in this journey. So I want to give you, like I said, first and foremost, prayers of reflection. And along that line, with those prayers of reflection, we kind of tapped into a little bit where we're talking about, forgiving ourselves for the things that didn't work out. Make sure that you're giving yourself empathy. There's still room out here for empathy. Empathy is lost in a lot of folks. It can be a cold world, but show people empathy. Show yourself empathy. I know I've said before, I can be my harshest critic. And so don't be that way about yourself. We have to learn how to speak over ourselves with the same grace and love that we give other people. And along that line, we do need to give people more grace. We do need to give people more love. I know, we're always trying to judge a person's actions or just to kind of, cut people off if they're not giving us the right energy. I'm not saying don't use discernment, but at the same time, discernment and empathy are two very different things, because when you're using your discernment, that means that you are tapping in to yourself, to your God-given gift, your God-given feeling to know when a situation is right or wrong for you. And utilizing that as a guide to help you make decisions. But when you're being empathetic, you understand that there could be situations where you are dealing with things that are right or wrong. And even in those situations when it's wrong, it doesn't require you to be negative. It doesn't require you to pull people down. It requires you to maybe lean into it, not based upon your feeling, but maybe seeking to understand more than to be right. Because in a lot of situations, it seems like most of us are focused on trying to be right versus trying to understand. And sometimes we have to understand that we're going to hear things that we don't want to hear, but there are things that we maybe need to hear so that we in turn can make better decisions, which our discernment has probably been telling us that we need to do anyway, but we just haven't been listening. So there's no reason not to be empathetic. You just have to understand that it's just a situation that is going to require that. And I know that might have sounded a little complex, but essentially, I know you got it, because if I got it, you got it. It's just, like I said, it's all about being empathetic. It's all about understanding that you don't have to try to use your words to cut somebody. You don't have to always try to, be hard. Seek to understand versus being heard, and understand that your discernment is what will guide you against being in the right or wrong situation. It's all the protection you need. It's just you have to be willing to listen to it. So I do, like I said, pray that you are more empathetic. And then I always like to wish love, because love is the thing. I believe in love. I'm a lover girl. I'm a sucker for love. I believe in it. I love love, and we need more of it. And I pray that you are surrounded in reciprocity. And I also pray that you give yourself that love that you need. You are the greatest love that you will ever know, and you have to protect you. Remember, you have done a lot of work to get to this journey of where you are. You have done a lot of healing, a lot of praying, a lot of protecting of yourself. And if you're still on the journey to healing, because healing is a 365-day a year journey, you have done and are doing a lot of work to get to this point of where you are. Protect your heart, protect your energy, protect yourself. You are worth it on all levels. That's simple. Yeah, you're just worth it on all levels. So I am sending you love and reciprocity for that. And then, of course, I always like to send prayers of abundance, because abundance is important. Things are expensive. Yes, I will not forget. And things do require financial prosperity. And I want you to have all the things that your heart desires and more, all the things that add value to you. But at the same time, I do want you to be abundant in your spirit, in your soul, because no matter how much money you have, if you don't have anyone to share it with, if you don't have memories to make, what is it all for? So make sure that you are doing things that feed into your soul, to your heart, that make you feel free and loved and happy on all levels. So those are my prayers for you this week. I am recording on Thursday, March the 23rd at 9:30 p.m. And it has been a hectic few weeks. I want to thank everyone so much for their grace. Well, I took a little short break last week because your girl was tired. I was exhausted. I have had such an amazing first quarter, but it has just been so busy. And of course, I would expect nothing less, because I turned 50 as I am in my golden renaissance and my arms are up, because of course, whenever I talk about it, I have to do that. And I'm still loving it and enjoying it, but I needed a break. I was exhausted. I was just running on fumes between that and just doing things for work. It has been crazy. So I just, like I said, wanted to say thank you for letting me take a break, but at the same time, also checking out the episode 145, The Greatest Love of All, just so that you can hear about my journey to love, my journey to self-love, and how I have really found this love in me. Again, I found myself, I found me, and I am protecting me and protecting her at all costs. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'll make sure I link it in the show notes. But this week I'm back and I'm ready. And like I said, we're at the end of the month. We're at the end of the quarter. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, I cannot believe we're here. So I thought that this would be a good opportunity for me to kind of do a check-in with you guys. Because, of course, there is no better accountability partner than y'all. And an opportunity for me to see kind of like how this first quarter has really shaped up and how it is going to set me up, tee me up going into second quarter. And I wanted to share this with you, one, because like I said, you guys are the best accountability partners ever. But at the same time, I kind of want to give you my perspective and hopefully it give you some inspiration as well for, how you can maybe take a moment or two to reflect on how you want to go into second quarter, how things ended in your first quarter, because it's really important as we're on this healing journey. There's so many books, there's so many things that we're going to do, vision boards, all the things. We still have to kind of weave in time as we are trying to navigate all of that stuff to celebrate the successes, celebrate the things that we did, mourn the things that didn't work out the way that we wanted to, and decide how we are going to tee ourselves up going into another quarter. Because I don't know about you guys, but like I get super overwhelmed. I've noticed at this point in my life when I have like a massive list of things to do, like literally, I just get like, I start to my heart starts to race because it's like, oh my goodness, I have 850 things to do on top of the other 850 things that I already have to do. So I find for myself, the best way that I am accountable and consistent is I have to kind of do things in small bites. And I've heard people kind of utilize an analogy of like you can't eat an elephant all in one bite. You just like one little small bite at a time. And I don't know if that's like the proper way to say the analogy, but it kind of fits. And hopefully if you've heard that before, you know exactly what I mean. But essentially then I'm trying to eat the elephant that is my life, that is this year, in small bites. So I'm here to give you guys a little small bite, kind of check in with me. And like I said, it doesn't have to be complex because, I know everybody does all the things, but, kind of telling on myself, which I've already kind of told on myself, I don't do all the things. I just don't. I used to be the vision board girl. I've had vision board parties. I love it. I would still do that for my friends because I know that there are many people who find value in it. But for me, it is really all about, like I said, between journaling, which has been one aspect of it on the journey, and really just sitting down and writing out a list of things that I'm going to leave behind in my previous year and things that I'm not taking forward now in this new journey that I'm on, and putting it on my phone so that I have like this quick ready reference list that I can go back to kind of check myself at any point in time, because I have to constantly, first and foremost, stay on top of myself when I'm trying to achieve any goal. Like literally, I am not the person who can just write it down and have accountability to come back to it like that. No. So I need to keep it in the places where I'm going to constantly be looking. So like I told y'all before, I have my list of things that I'm leaving behind in 2022 in the next decade of my life on my phone, because that's what I started doing last year. And I found that it was extremely successful because I'm chained to this phone. I'm not even going to sit up here and pretend. I am tied to it, honey. I look at this phone probably more than I look at television. I look at this phone just as much as I look at my computer, and it's on my computer too. So one thing I would say while you were on the journey to thinking about how you want to tee up yourself going into second quarter, if you haven't kind of got a methodology together, just remember, whatever you do, whatever list you make, put it somewhere where you are constantly going to look at it, because out of sight is definitely out of mind for some of us, and we have to know ourselves. That also probably is one other thing that we really have to talk about as we are trying to check in on this quarter of our lives and do this like mini little, gut check, goal check, see where we are check. We have to check ourselves. We have to make sure that the thing that we have adopted, this vision board, goal list, what have you, that it still works for where you are in the life. Because don't play. Like, you know who you are. You know how dedicated you are. You know how consistent you are. Don't set yourself up to have your goals out here and you're never going to go back and look at them again, because that just doesn't fit with your life anymore. Because we have to give ourselves space to understand that we're going to shift and adjust with how we do things based upon just the nature of life. Because, life starts to life. We get super busy and you can get super distracted. So give yourself that moment of transparency, that moment of honesty, that moment of empathy to say, if something's not working, you know what? I have to shift away from this into another path, because that's not working for me anymore. Because ultimately, it's not about how you get it done. It's about getting it done. And let me say that again. It's not about how you get your goals outlined. It's not about how you get it done. It's about getting it done. So if your path to the goals have to change, that's okay. Give yourself that space to do that and check in with yourselves to make sure that this still aligns. So kind of coming off of my little sermonette, my goals still align with my pattern, because I'm still hooked and chained to this phone and to this computer, like I said. So that's where I have my goals. And so I am literally just sitting down right now, just kind of looking at my goals. And not necessarily, not my goals, looking at the things that I've decided to leave behind in 2022 in the next decade of my life. And the first one that I'm looking at is overthinking. And that is still going to be something that I'm going to have to work on, because if I look back from January into where we are right now on March the 29th at 9:38 p.m., yes, I have had moments of overthinking. Quite a few. And if I were to think about the areas where I am struggling the most when I am overthinking, it is definitely as it relates to romantic relationships. Totally 185%. That is where it is. And I'm just going to say, yeah, I have to work through that. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is when I'm looking at it, it's just, this is an opportunity for me to say, okay, I'm going to stop doing that. And the way that I stop doing that for me is by making sure that I am getting the clarity that I need in order to ensure that I have all of the information that I want to move through without overthinking. Like, I have to be super clear. I am not one of those people anymore that can kind of leave things to chance, kind of try to figure it out. If I have a question, I have to ask, and my person needs to be able to understand that and answer it, because I believe in clarity. And I tie that back also to the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, because that is such a big part of my life. And it is something that is very important to me on my healing journey, because one of the main agreements is not to make assumptions. And so I have given myself the permission to make sure that I am asking clear and concise questions, because I have learned in my journey to love and life, no one is too busy to give you the answers that you seek. No one is too busy. No one, and the people who want to rock with you, who want to be with you, are more than willing to tell you the information that you need. It's just a matter of you making sure that you are surrounded by the right people. Yep, that's pretty much what that is. Doesn't even require an extra explanation. I think you all got that. So essentially, that is where, like I said, I struggle in my romantic relationships in regards to overthinking. And so I need to make sure that I am continuing to push myself to ask for clarity when necessary, so that I can get the information that I need, with the understanding that no one is too busy, too bothered, too anything to give me the information that I want, because they're my people. They're my person. And if I'm using my discernment, if I'm surrounded myself with the right people, they will give me the information that I need. And that's it. So check off on overthinking. My next one was not living fully. Now, I can say that I have fully lived over this first 3 months, honey. It has been a busy time. I've been to New Orleans. I've been to Chicago. I have just had a time, like literally. And I have done so many things in this first 3 months, and I am just so excited. In this first 3 months, I have made the decisions to take off time from work when I need to take off time from work to go and do things with my friends or my family or for myself. I don't have any fear and guilt of taking that, because before, you always, when you're at work, sometimes you can get this like remorse in your belly about taking time off if you're not careful when you're overworking. I am learning that even if I do have that little bit of remorse in my belly because I'm busy, I'm still going to take the time off because somebody loves me enough to want to spend time with me, to want to prioritize me. Like my friends have shown up and come through for me during this first quarter. I have no excuse not to do the same. Very blessed. Let me tell y'all, I have truly lived. I have had a time, and I am just so blessed. So I can definitely say that's an area that I am truly staying consistent on, and I am very grateful for that. The next one is not recognizing my boldness or power. And if I think about it, I did okay with this one. I did okay because I did recognize my boldness and power a lot. I would say a lot more in February, and especially during my birthday month. I did, because I have truly asked God and my ancestors to allow me to step into my goddess energy. And honey, I was serving all my goddess energy on my birthday. And I have truly just felt so much more in control of me and just stepping into who I am, the power that I am. I still have some room. Now, don't let me act like I said, I've done okay. I still have some more room to get a little bit more bolder, but I've had a time. I've had a time with that. So I'm just looking forward to continuing to step into that grace of who I am and feel really good about it. So I'm very grateful. The next one is not remembering that everyone is not on the same level of healing as me. And that one is always tough, because when you're on this journey of healing, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's just me, it's like you start to attract more people who are, on that journey as well. But then at the same time, you also encounter, I sometimes feel, even more people who are not on the journey, or, those people who are not on the journey, it starts to become a lot more evident to you. And you wind up having to make a lot of choices in relation to how you're able to move with certain people and stuff. And see, I've been very fortunate that I've kind of moved through a lot of that. And I think that I have been able to extend more empathy to people who are not on the same level of healing that I'm on, and try to be more understanding of where they are and offer, insights where they may ask me certain questions about it. But I try not to judge, because I know what it's like I said, to be at the bottom of the healing journey. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm totally healed. I'm not. Healing is a 365-day a year journey for the rest of my life. Like for the rest of my life, I will always be healing, but I will be in different phases and stages and cycles of it. And I have to admit right now, I'm not as in the trenches as I have been, because I've done a lot of healing work. Now I'm more I'm protecting it. I'm just trying to block and rebuke any craziness from throwing me off kilter, because I just want to protect this girl, this woman that I am. I want to protect her. So yes, I have to make sure that I kind of watch how it goes. So my discernment has to be on strong to make sure that I stay protected. But I'm also understanding that grace has to be given even more so now, because one thing I will say, it is very easy, if you are not careful when you are on the healing journey, to get a little haughty about your healing journey, because you've done so much work. Sometimes you might feel like you're up here when you need to remember, nah, boo boo, you're still on the journey. So don't get above anybody else, because I always like to remember that just as easy as you went up, you can always go back down. Life can handle you in different ways very quickly. So it is always better to lead from a place of humility and empathy, so that you can remember that not everyone is on the same level of healing as you, and give you the grace that you need. The next one kind of going through is not surrendering to God. And I feel like I am definitely still in the season of surrender. Like I said, that is my second word for this year outside of Renaissance. And I have to admit, I kind of go back and forth with that. But one thing about God, I feel like God has a really good sense of humor. So when God sees me stepping out of line, where I'm trying to let that A-type personality come in, God sends me signs. He will send me different quotes on surrender. I will constantly see the word surrender. I will start dreaming about surrender. God will sit on me heifer, surrender. Yeah. And so it's this constant remembrance of where I need to be and how I made the vow to surrender to God. So I feel like that is an area where it's you know what? I'm okay. I still got room to go, but I'm okay. And then my next one is not being clear about my goals and objectives in every area of my life. And that kind of, like I said, kind of speaks to the 4 agreements again about, not making assumptions and having that clarity. I am in this season of clarity in my life. It is super important to me. When I am in cycles of ambiguity, I just get unnerved by it. I just don't have time for a lot of uncertainty, and not uncertainty in the sense where it's you just don't know where your career is going or what have you, but I'm talking about ambiguity and uncertainty in people around me. I have to know, because in these times, in these days, in these moments, it feels like you have to be 10 toes down. I've said that before, and I'm going to keep saying it. You have to be 10 toes down about your faith, about your values, about your, just who you are as a person. You can't be wishy-washy. And so I get a little uneasy when people come around me with that type of energy, because I don't know where you're coming from. It makes me very skeptical, which is the 5th agreement with the 4 agreements. It doesn't make me question you too much. It just makes me I just sit back and observe your actions a little more, because the devil's in the details all the time. You can only present to be one way for so long before the other side of you comes out. So that's one thing to always remember as you are on this journey of healing. You don't have to really worry about getting mad at people. You don't have to worry about being on top of people. Your discernment will guide you, but if you give people room, they will show you who they are. It's just up to you to believe them. So that's one thing that I would say if I were to look at it. That's why it's very important. So not saying that it's an area that I've totally got, but I definitely say not being clear about my goals and objectives, I've gotten better about. And I really have been very consistent about ensuring that I have clarity. Now, don't get me wrong, I still have some room to grow. Like I said, I'm on this journey with love. I'm open. My goddess energy is out here. So people like to come at me with it. But I think I'm getting a lot clearer about what my expectations are, and it's coming out. And so it is protecting me from dealing with a lot of craziness, which essentially leads into not speaking my mind about my emotions, including triggers. It is all about being honest in this moment, sitting here, even reviewing where I am along with the things that I have in my goals, and just trying to share this with you guys to think about how you would sit down and evaluate where you are as well. be honest. I mean, I'm telling you guys where I have my shortcomings. Don't be afraid of your shortcomings, because they're just things that you have in your life that you can grow from, and have space where you can talk to your friends about that. I feel really good to be in this space where I can have honest conversation with my crew, with my girls, and just be honest. And I know that they can give me honest correction as well. It's not like we're sitting up in here trying to sugarcoat the world so that we can't grow and elevate, because there is honesty and love in correction. It's just all about how it goes across. I never have to question their motives or their methods, because they're not trying to pull me down. They're trying to lift me up. And so we speak to each other in that manner. So I don't necessarily have to be unsure about my emotions. And if I even think about that as we're dealing with relationships and stuff like that, this is a time where you see constant videos about relationships and people with advice about how to do this and how to do that. I have to admit, maybe again, that's me being a sucker for love, but I miss the days where people were just honest about their intention. I do. I miss the day where people would just honestly say, hi, my name is such and such. And, I found you very attractive and I would love to get to know you. Or my name is such and such and we've been trying to have a relationship. And, I've been hurt before. I've gone through some things and I'm working on myself and I'm just trying to do better. So I just kind of need you to be gentle with me. I just need you to understand that I might struggle in communication or what have you areas. I just don't understand why we make it so hard for each other, why we make love so hard. I don't think love has to be hard. I think about love like friendship. If it's real, it doesn't have to be. It takes vulnerability and trust on both parts. But I do understand that it takes both partners coming into it with that same mindset, and that can be a little tricky sometimes. So believe me, you're preaching to the choir. I've met, yes, it's a lot of us, as I like to say, in the hospital waiting room of love, trying to get healed and fixed. But I just wish people were more open about their emotions, that we gave each other that space to talk about that, because I think when we are more honest, when we express the things that scare us, our triggers, it just gives us space to be able to communicate with each other more effectively, and so that we can really build the type of relationships, be it romantic, be it friendships, even when we're talking about families, on a much more intense and beautiful scale, because it's rooted in honesty versus us bringing in all of our fears and all of this whack advice sometimes that we get out here instead of just talking to each other real. So that's my little soapbox rant around that. But hey, again, when it comes to speaking my mind about my emotions, including my triggers, I'm getting better. And I'm really glad to be at that space, because I want to stand in my truth, because I know that my truth will set me free and it will help me continue to grow on the journey. So just two more, not being present. Oh, no. Not consistently dating myself, and I'm going to combine it with not being present. And not consistently dating myself is true. Like, I definitely need to get some solo dinner moments or stuff out here, spa moments. I've had a lot of spa moments this quarter with my friends, and I don't regret it, but at all. I loved every moment with it. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that I prioritize time for myself, that I prioritize dates with myself, because I think it's important that we take ourselves out every once in a while. We get our nails done, our hair done. We, do what little things that make us feel beautiful and tap into us, because we are always sometimes so many things to other people. So I hope some of you who are thinking that same thing, we prioritize some of those times for us going into the second quarter. And not being present, meaning that, again, I told y'all I'm like tethered to a phone and a computer. So I need to focus on trying to be more present when I have conversations, when I'm talking to people, be it at work or in my personal life. I don't want to be so chained down. I want to just live in the moment and enjoy it, because moments are the best. I mean, so many beautiful things can happen, so many beautiful conversations to have, so many beautiful just feelings to feel. It's just important to just give ourselves room. We are not that important. We are not that busy to be present. So here is to all of us being present. And then the final final one is not stating and executing my boundaries. And I have had the pleasure of reading Nedra Tawwab's book on boundaries, and I am about setting boundaries, finding peace, and I'm about to dive in with my friends to Drama Free, a guide to managing unhealthy family relationships. But boundaries are key. Like, I have friends who have like block games on level 10. I'm trying to learn from them. I'm trying to make sure that my boundaries are together. I was just talking to someone today about making sure that I'm establishing my work boundaries. You know, I've been blessed at work, and I've have a season where I'm moving into a brand new role. I got a promotion, and I'm really excited about that. I'm very excited, but I need to make sure that I establish boundaries. I need to make sure that I'm balancing my energy, because I want to be the best that I can at work, and I'm focused and diligent. And that means that I have to set up boundaries. I can't be everything to everybody. Just like I set up boundaries in my personal life, I need to make sure that I prioritize that. And that feeds into all of those other areas that we were discussing. So it is just very important to me that I set some boundaries, and that I really look at making sure that, I get everything tightened up, because stepping into a new season of elevation brings obviously more success and more opportunity, but also more work, potentially more stress. And so I have to balance everything out, so just trying to make sure that I keep my boundaries strong. So ultimately, those are my things that I look at. And if I were to sum up Q1 and just like a beautiful little number, it would be like a 9.9, like literally, if not a 10. I just need to stop lying. Q1 was a 10. This first quarter of 2023 has been amazing. And did I accomplish everything? Did I live up to all of the things that I was planning to leave behind? No. I still have areas where I need to grow. And you know what? I have forgiven myself for the mistakes that I made along the way, and I learned from them. And I think that's where checking in your goals helps, because it helps you see you did so much. It helps you see that, everything didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to be, and I'm okay with that. But because I made it and I'm here, and I have a lot of valuable lessons that I'm taking into Q2 for 2023. And I think for yourselves, that's what you should think about. And when you're thinking about the things that you want to carry into 2020, into Q2 of 2023, April, May, and June, don't try to overwhelm yourself trying to tap into everything, because I am literally sitting here thinking what I'm going to prioritize going into Q2 is making sure that I stay a little bit better on top of my overthinking and self-check myself with that. As well as I will continue to live boldly. I will continue to live fully. I will make sure I prioritize some spa moments, some self-care moments for me where I am dating myself. I will continue to speak my truth. I will continue to live out loud and be bold. I will work on my boundaries in this new season of elevation that I'm going into in my job. And I will just work on being the best version of me. So that's it. I'm not going to make it some long drawn out process. Whatever didn't work out in Q1, it didn't work out. It's over. I'm moving it into the sea of forgetfulness, and I'm learning the lessons that I need to be more upfront about what I need and protect my energy and just be amazingly who I am. And one thing too that I learned is that I need to just continue to prioritize and love my crew. My friends really showed up for me in the first quarter of this year. I've never had people prioritize me in the way that my friends did. I cannot say it, from being in New Orleans with me for my 50th to I have a few friends took me to Chicago to see Nedra Tawwab, and it was amazing. I feel so blessed to have people in my life who see me and who know what I love and make it a priority to make sure that I have it. And they find value in it and they support it and encourage it and want to see it grow. That's a blessing. That's why I say, don't take the people in your life for granted. Always take an opportunity to value the lights in your life because they bring so much energy, so much knowledge, so much strength to the table. You never want to forget that. And don't forget to glean into that. Listen to it, even when they're giving you a little bit of correction, because their correction is always going to be rooted in love. And one thing that I would challenge you to do as well is to just make sure that you are showing up for them. Like I recently have been asking my friends, how would you like me to show up for you? And, or how, is things that I could do differently? Because I just want to make sure that I am pouring into them just as much as they are pouring into me. We have to understand that as adults, life is gonna life. We are all super busy, but no one is too busy to prioritize the people that they love and they care about. No one. No one is that busy. And when you know that there are people in your life that you love, that you care for, that you want to continue to have in your life, make them a priority. Don't second guess it. Don't question it. Just do it. And it doesn't require a lot of work. Friendship is not work. Believe me. I asked that question via a text message. That text message conversation in most instances maybe took 1 or 2 minutes. I think everybody can spare 1 or 2 minutes in order to check in with each other, just to make sure everybody feels loved. Everybody knows that they are loved and valued. What is that going to hurt? And it's also great feedback for us because, there might be other ways that we could show up, and I even asked that question, not just of my friends. I asked my sister. My sister is my best friend, and she just asked me to show up for her a little more, in regards to her needing my support and encouragement. And it didn't make me sad. It made me feel good that she was honest enough to give me that feedback. Give people the space to be honest with you. Give yourself the space for people to be honest with you as well, so that you can hear feedback that will help you be the best person that you are, that can help deepen your relationships. That's all a part of the healing journey. That's all a part of these goals that we have. It's all about understanding that we're trying to take our lives to the next level. So challenge yourself in little ways to do that, because we are all on the journey to healing. Healing, like I said, is a 365-day-a-year journey. And it's a lifetime journey. It's just going to ebb and flow and grow depending upon where we are on it. So I hope that you understand that you are supported, that you are seen, that you are valued, and that I'm right along the journey with you. And I'm growing and learning and sharing and all of those things with you too. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing what April, May, and June is going to bring us. And I hope you guys like this, because I think this is what I'm going to do every quarter at the end to kind of wrap it all up so that you know how it's all going, because you guys know I'm celebrating all year long, honey, on this 50th journey. I'm still liking 50. I'm still fresh into it. It's really only been a little over a month now that I've been 50, and I feel great, seriously. And I have just truly been just so blessed by it. So I'm looking forward to what the journey will just continue to unfold for me. And I really am looking forward to hearing how you guys are doing on your goals. I really hope that Q1 was amazing for you. I am believing even better things in Q2 and beyond. I know that this is a year of transformation for so many of us. There is so much abundance surrounding us right now. So I am just truly claiming wonderful things for all of you. I am believing and praying for you great things. Please make sure that you share with me all of your accomplishments. I'm looking forward to being a cheerleader for you and supporting you in any way that I can. So as we wrap into April, I have some great guests kind of planned coming up on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also going to be kind of like meditating a little bit on a content series that I think I have in my spirit. I just kind of have to figure it out a little bit more. So we'll have some new things coming up, and I do plan on having an event. Let me stop saying trying to, because it is going to happen, because many things are aligning behind the scenes that y'all have no idea about. So I'm very excited about that this year as well. So big things. We have lots to accomplish, lots to grow together and see and do. So I want to thank you guys for checking in with me this week. I hope you have an amazing week. I will have all of my information in the show notes. Please don't hesitate to reach out, but please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, review the podcast, because your reviews are going to help us continue to grow. And that's what this is about: growing, learning, sharing, and loving together. So I want to thank you guys for your time. I hope you found some value in this. Let me know how you're doing for Q1. I'm again sending you prayers. Going into Q2, we're going to crush it. The season of abundance and transformation is for us all. I am believing great things, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.